So what I'll do is I'll actually create a CBO campaign with you so you guys can follow along, because I've noticed in the comments that a lot of you want me to show you step by step on what to do here. So the first thing you're gonna do, hey guys, hope you're well. So it's currently 5:30 in the morning here on a Saturday, and I've been taking a look at a couple of clients' ad accounts. So I recently took over this client's account a few weeks ago now, and as you can see, it was quite a low spend account. I mean, this is in February. If I go to March, what you'll see is they spent about 2.2k pounds, $87 CPA, sitting at about a 0.55x, okay? So this account was not profitable at all. Now, if I take you to this month's data, so I think I took over halfway through the month, what you'll notice is that their ROAS is starting to improve. And if you look at their results now, they're currently sitting at a 1.49x, okay? And a £43 purchase. Now, the reason I wanted to show you guys this is because I think today what I want to speak about, and I think this is going to be a topic that a lot of you want to hear, is how can I simplify my ad account structure and get it to work, right? Or what do I do when my CPAs are high? Now, a lot of people that I work with, this is through consulting and media buying, when they come to me, their accounts are messy, okay? And what I mean by messy is they've got a lot of different accounts. Most of the time, they've actually got the same ads in heaps of different accounts, okay? Now this is called horizontal scaling, right? Where you've got multiple campaigns with the same ads in each campaign and you're trying to squeeze money out of all of these different ads. Now, the problem with this strategy, you're going to risk having audience overlap, okay? Especially if you're targeting the same country. What I want to do in this video is tell you a step-by-step process on what you can do to simplify things, okay? So for this client, I'm running one single CBO campaign. A CBO is campaign budget optimized, right? So we're setting the budget at the campaign level. Now, what we do is we do ad iteration tests in ad sets, okay? So ad sets fall underneath your CBO. Inside each ad set, I recommend putting 3 ads, okay? When you launch an ad set, you need to give it at least 7 days to spend, okay? And always start off your new campaigns at around $100 or £100 or €100, whatever. But it has to be 100 per day. In fact, it doesn't have to be, but that's my sort of general rule of thumb that I stick with. Your job is to test 1 to 2 ad sets per week. Make sure your ad targeting is broad and use original audience, okay? So don't use Advantage Plus audience. So as you can see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 active ad sets running. Now, this campaign in particular is set at about 200 to 220 pounds per day. So we don't want to have too many ad sets in there because it's just going to dilute the spend. So when you're just starting out or you're a low spending account, you don't need to flood the ad account with ads. A lot of people get this wrong. They want to test, they're itching to scale, which is understandable, I get it. But what you need to consider is that you're playing with a small amount of budget, okay? So Facebook's gonna allocate that budget to the ad set or ad that either has the highest engagement or an ad that it thinks has the best performance, right? So take it slow, launch a couple of ad sets per week, give it time to spend, and don't make emotional decisions in the ad account. So if, for example, you launch an ad set and the CPA looks high, that's okay. Let it run for a few days, see if it comes back to your CPA target, and if not, then kill it and constantly launch new ad sets until you find winners. And this is probably the most simple and easiest structure that anyone can run, whether you're a beginner or you're advanced, okay? So just to reiterate, we're gonna go for 1 CBO campaign. Within that campaign, we're gonna launch ad sets that are broad, targeting original audience. We're not gonna put any restrictions. And inside those ad sets, we're gonna have 3 ads, all right? Now, those ads must be grouped by angle. They could be going after the same avatar, whatever, but there has to be some consistency, okay? When it comes to Facebook ads, what does the targeting is the ad set, right? And then inside the ad set, you have the ad. Now, back in the day in 2018, we used to use what's called interest-based targeting, where you type in interests and you'd go after specific audience groups that way. In 2025, you don't need to do that, okay? So you just let things run broad. So what I'll actually do is, I'll show you guys as an example. So what I'm gonna do with this account is I'm gonna create a new ad set, right? I'm gonna just call it test, okay? So I'll press continue. Now, within this ad set, you're gonna select website, okay? So now we're on website. You select your pixel, etc. Now, when you scroll down, you'll see here that this is set to Advantage Plus audience. What we want to be doing is we want to be pressing this button here and we want to go switch setup and we want to leave it to original audience, okay? So now this is location, UK, age, broad, and broad, right? And the reason why we want to run things broadly is because your piece of content does the targeting for you, right? So you don't need to manually restrict Facebook and input age demographics and genders. Look, if you're selling women's lingerie, maybe you do want to, just restrict it to women, okay? But there may be outliers is what I'm saying. But ultimately, at the end of the day, most brands should be running broad, okay? So don't stress too much about the technical side of the targeting. So what I'll do is I'll actually create a CBO campaign with you so you guys can follow along, because I've noticed in the comments that a lot of you want me to show you step by step on what to do here. So the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna go over to create, okay? Now we're going to click on sales. So these are different conversion events that you can go after. The only one you need to worry about with ecom is this one here, sales. So you go to sales. You can label your campaign whatever you want. Now, Advantage Plus catalog ads, we're going to switch this off. Now, what you'll notice is that Facebook is now pushing Advantage Plus, okay? So this is now switched on. What defines Advantage Plus is your budget, having it at the campaign level, your audience and your placements, right? So we can still turn this into an original audience CBO, and I'm gonna show you how in just a second. So what you wanna do is you wanna set your budget at the campaign level, okay? Now, there are two different ways to run ads. You've got ad set budget and campaign budget. Let me just briefly explain the difference between the both. Now, campaign budget is when you're setting your budget at the campaign level. Basically what this means is Facebook is going to distribute your spend across those ad sets that sit underneath your campaign. And it's going to do this for you based on where it thinks it can get the most conversions. The other alternative is to use what's called ad set budget. Now, at the end of the day, some people like to use ad set budget. Me personally, I prefer to use campaign budget just because I find it's easier to manage, and me personally, I trust Facebook's algorithm more than maybe some others do, okay? With the ad set level spending, what it allows you to do is set budgets per ad set. So what a lot of people will do is they'll launch, say, 10 ad sets, $20 a day, they'll manually scale up winners, and look, there's no right or wrong here, okay guys? So I don't ever want to come from a place of being right or wrong. It's entirely up to you. I use campaign budget. Let's move on. Now, the next thing that you want to do is you want to set your campaign spending limit, okay? So for me, I'm going to set my daily budget, as it's a new campaign, at $100 a day. The next part here is your campaign bid strategy, okay? Now, if you've watched any of my other videos, you'll notice that I talk a lot about bid caps. But this is probably for more advanced marketers. If you're starting out, using highest volume is honestly the way to go. I've built brands that have scaled to $500,000 and $1 million a month, even 1.5 million a month using highest volume. So again, there's no right or wrong here. Basically what this means is that Facebook is going to spend this budget and try to get you the highest volume of conversions, okay? There are other options like cost per result goal, ROAS goal, which they've now disabled, and bid cap, which is what I generally use for my clients and my own brands, but we're gonna stick with highest volume for this video. Now, this next part is very important, and make sure that you guys do this, especially if you're starting out. What you'll notice here is we have audience segment reporting, okay? Now, what this enables you to do is connect through, say, Klaviyo or a customer CSV file, but basically you can set your engaged audience and your existing customers. This becomes important when you're using exclusions, okay? So an exclusion applies at the ad set level, which I'm about to show you, and it means that you can exclude existing customers, you can target an engaged audience if you're running a retargeting campaign, etc. So make sure you set this up. So if you're using an email service such as Klaviyo, you can use an API gateway to connect this. It's very simple. Just go into your events manager and audience tools under Facebook. I'm not going to show you guys this in this video, but make sure you set that up. What we're now going to do is press next, okay? And now this is when you visit the ad set level, okay? So we're going to create our first ad set. We're just going to call it test 1, all right? Now within the ad set level, you can drop people on different conversion locations. We always want to select website, okay? So you're going to be taking people to your website. Now, what you've got here is your performance goal, right? So you've got maximum number of conversions. You can ignore everything. All we want to be selecting is maximum number of conversions. You're then going to select your pixel and your conversion event, which will be purchase. What you want to do is you want to scroll down at the ad set level, and when you get to audience, this is where you're going to change from using Advantage Plus audience to original audience. So as you can see, Facebook is pushing Advantage Plus. It's because it's really an easy way to get new people onto the platform and spending with them, right? So as you can see again, you've got budget, audience, and placements. What I want you guys to do is scroll down here to further limit the reach of your audience, Press that and press switch setup. Now this is gonna basically take you back to original audience where you can set things like age and genders. But again, as I said, we want to leave things broad, right? Now, when it comes to targeting, the targeting happens at the content level, not necessarily the ad set level, because the type of content you produce is going to dictate where Facebook delivers that content, whether it be middle-aged mums, Gen Z, men, women, skincare lovers, beauty enthusiasts, whatever it is. But it's your job as a brand to know exactly who you're targeting, okay? So the way in which you develop your content and the way in which you write your scripts, your primary text copy, that is what's gonna deliver your content to the right or wrong audience. Now, where a lot of people get this wrong is that they don't understand who they're actually marketing to. That's why they eventually receive a high CPA on their ads, because their ads themselves, and by ads I mean the actual content and the copy, are very broad. They're not speaking to a specific audience. So this comes from a lack of understanding of who we're actually targeting. Now, the only other thing you need to know in regards to this section here is your locations, okay? So if you're running a CBO campaign, what I recommend you do is you separate your campaign at the campaign level by country. So we're just gonna start with Australia. Now, the reason why I separate my campaigns by country is because it's negligent of us to assume that one piece of content that works well in Australia is going to work well in a European country or the US, etc. So we always set up one CBO, so what I've just showed you, for each individual country that you're targeting, okay? So don't fall into the trap of grouping a whole bunch of countries together. There's no need for it. We want to be able to track the data separately, make manual adjustments to budgets separately, and I'll go into that after I show you how to finish setting this up. The last thing I just wanted to show you guys is placements. And again, this has been turned on in an Advantage Plus setting, which is fine. It's just basically saying that Facebook will automatically show ads in the places where people are likely to respond. So just leave that on, you don't need to touch that. So what's important here is, as you can see, our audience definition is broad, and this is what we want, okay? Facebook wants us to use broad targeting, and that's what Advantage Plus is. Let's go to the next step. So once you've completed those two things, and just to recap, so you've set up your campaign, which is a CBO, you've set up your first ad set, we're now going to go in and create our first ad. So I'll just call this ad test number 1, okay? So as you can see, you've got your ad name here. As you can see, you've got your ad name here. You've got your Facebook page that you're gonna connect to and the Instagram account that you're gonna connect to. And what you wanna do is you wanna scroll down, and this is where we're gonna set up our first ad, okay? So you've got create ad, manual upload. Now, this is just the format and the type of ads that you can make, so flexible. Now, flexible is basically, it's gonna predict what platform and which ad will work best. Don't worry about this. All you need to worry about is this here, single image or video. Multi-advertiser ads, you can leave that checked on. Here, you're gonna input your destination URL. So in your destination URL, you might drop people on the homepage of your website, on the product page. You can split test these things, but again, this is more technical stuff. I'm just giving you a top line overview. This is more for beginners in the space, okay? We're just gonna put test.com. We're gonna put in our fake URL, and that's where you're gonna be dropping people on that specific ad, okay? Now, if you scroll down here, this is where you're gonna set up your creative, okay? So you've got two options here. You've either got image ads or video ads. Both of these ads hold a significant place within your business. What you want to do is you want to have creative diversity across your ads. There are some brands that just run image ads, which is also fine, but what I would recommend you try out is having diversification in your ads, okay? And the reason for that is because it's negligent to think that someone is going to click on your ad and buy just off that one time. People have and go through what's called a customer journey, where they see a lot of different ads. It may take 3 touch points as an example, right? So you may upload video ads, and those videos may be a sort of introduction to your brand known as a top of funnel ad, where you talk about your brand, the product, and they're not really salesy ads, okay? Then you may also have ads that are static ads that are very salesy. You might run offers like buy one, get one free. It might be a 10% off ad, or it might be a unique selling proposition ad where you feature the product and the benefits. Now, most of the time, these are bottom of funnel ads. But anyway, moral of the story is it's good to have diversity in this. What you will notice is that there are a bunch of Advantage Plus features, okay? And I want to talk you guys through these. Now, you've got overlays, which is basically where it's going to add text over your image. You got visual touch-ups, so these are all AI generated. You've got default music that will play. Now this is for image ads, text improvements, yada, yada, yada. Now, what I want you guys to do is switch all of these off. It's an absolute pain in the ass, but we do not want to have these on, okay? Now, I've run tests running ads with all of these on and it didn't do anything to performance. Basically what you're doing is you're letting Facebook choose music and most of the time it gets it wrong, okay? So once you've done that, you've then set up the campaign, you've set up your ad set with your targeting, and you've implemented your first ad, okay? What you're gonna do next is you're gonna do what's called primary text, right? So let me show you guys. Primary text is the text that will display at the top of an ad here. I'll go ahead and fill out some primary text for you guys. Welcome to Harmony House, okay? So your primary text is text that will show above the ad on Facebook placements. So if we go to advanced preview, you'll see the different options, right? So you've got Facebook feed, Instagram stories, etc. Your primary text will sit above the photo on the Facebook feed, okay? And it'll sit below on Instagram in the caption. What you wanna do here is you wanna give Facebook 3 options, okay? So 1, 2, and 3. And you also want to do the same with your headline copy. The reason for this is Facebook's algorithm is going to test all 3 different headlines and pick out of all those variations which one is resonating the most with your audience, okay? So you don't need to leave it at just one headline copy or one primary text. Now, if you scroll down more, what you're gonna see is that there is a call to action. Now, the call to action can be many things. It can be learn more, listen now, whatever. Most of the time, you're gonna be using shop now if you're selling an e-com product. Now, this brand here, this is a friend of mine's business in Melbourne. It's a service-based business. So for him, we wouldn't be using shop now, but for example's sake, I'm just showing you the different options, okay? Down here is where you'll see your tracking. Now, obviously this pixel's not active. This is an old business that hasn't been worked on for 2 years, but you wanna make sure that you've got your correct pixel ID set up in here, okay? Because if you don't, you're not going to accurately track conversion. So this is very important. Do not skip that step, make sure you're in there. The last thing I wanted to show you guys is this. This is your URL parameters, right? Where you can set what's called a UTM link. A UTM link is an external piece of code that will sit at the end of your website URL, and it allows you to more accurately track your results and data. Now, the thing is with Facebook's attribution is it's neither here nor there, okay? Sometimes it under attributes, sometimes it over attributes, and it makes it very hard for marketers to know what's working. So again, this is more of an advanced step, but what I recommend you do is Google, ask ChatGPT how to set it up. It's not that difficult, but try to use UTM tracking in your ads if you can. So that's a very top line level of how you can set up a basic Facebook ads campaign. Now, I wanted to make this video because I know there are a lot of new people out there and there is a ton of information in regards to Facebook ads. And to be honest with you, most people overcomplicate it. If you're starting out, this is the structure that you need to launch with. Set up a single CBO campaign. I've shown you how to set up your ad set and I showed you how to set up an ad. All you need to do as well is duplicate that ad that you've just created, swap out the primary text and content, and launch 3 ads per ad set, okay? Now what you wanna do is you wanna start off with 3 ad sets and 3 ads in each. Start it off at $100 a day and gradually increase your spend according to your return on ad spend. The biggest key here is not to increase your budgets too quickly, right? What happens is we all wanna scale fast. The reason why you start at $100 a day is because you're going to tell Facebook to go after a small group of people, which will lead to an increase in profitable conversions quickly. If you start at $1,000 a day, Facebook's trying to find someone to buy from you in a huge group of people. And the problem is it doesn't have enough learnings to do that successfully, okay? So again, just to iterate, start with 1 CBO campaign, 1 ad set, 3 ads inside each, and then you can duplicate the ad set and swap out the ads, right? So you got 3 ad sets, 3 ads in each. When it comes to scaling, increase your campaign budget at the CBO campaign level by 20% per day. But when you launch, always give your account at least 3 days to spend, see what the CPAs are, and scale slowly. If you're new to Facebook ads, drop me a comment below. And if you want more stuff like this, and if you want me to show you guys some more technical setups, this is more for the advanced people, drop me a comment, let me know. But if you're new to your Facebook ads journey, all the best. I wish you well, and I'll see you in the next video.